Hello, welcome to another episode of Get Your Geek On, the isolation edition of Get Your Geek On, with my very special guest, Barry. Hello, Barry.
Hello there, Fraser. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Surviving?
I'm surviving, yes. I'm in a fairly lucky position compared to other people. I can still work from home, but I know you're struggling a little bit, so I feel for you, mate. I really do. All stuck in there in the house.
As freelancers of TV and film have just essentially been abandoned by the broadcasters and by the government. But we're not going to be dour about it. We shall persevere.
Yeah.
So since we are stuck at home, we are, you and I are both vloggers. We both make content on YouTube. You're more experienced than I am. I had these grand plans where I was going to go around and interview more vloggers and gamers and comedians and actors and writers and filmmakers and anything kind of considered creative across the board. I was going to go out and meet all these people, show off their work, chat about them, and basically A, add a new stream to my own channel, and B, just talk to more creative people, because creative people are just bloody brilliant, let's be honest. But obviously with the coronavirus, we have been sort of hindered, but in a way, not really, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We can still do it. We can still do remote things. We can still do interviews. It's just maybe not as personal as we'd like it to be, but I suppose it's safer this way. So to kick us off, I am speaking to Barry, aka Deanstructor, who some of you might know and some of you might not know. So Barry,
probably most of the folk know, but there we are.
Yeah, compared to your subscribers and my subscribers, people will have heard of it. The only thing missing is Jamie. He's not here.
Whatever name he goes by this week, yes, we know.
Margaret Auntie Moira. So you are, of course, as I just said, you are a vlogger. But would you please just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Right, well, my name's Barry. My tagline says I am a Whovian, vlogger, YouTuber, and call center monkey, although that last monkey is maybe a little bit more defined nowadays. But it kind of sums up what I do and what I am. This is my YouTube is a hobby. It's not something I would consider as a career. Lovely to have that in the future, but it's something to keep my hand in, because I did a lot of training in the TV industry. What was it, 20 years ago now I did my course. Yes, I know, it's that bloody long ago. 20 years.
15 years for me, my friend. 15 years for me.
Yeah, it just makes you feel ancient when you're looking at a video that's up on my YouTube channel that was done 20 years ago, and you're going, oh my goodness, 1, I look so slim, 2, I look so cherub, and 3, I've still got that red shirt, and I might show you that later. But Promises, yeah. Unfortunately, I can't fit in the shirt, but I still have the shirt, so there we are. That's age coming there, you know. But yeah, no. So this is always a hobby, and it's something I've been doing consistently now for 4 years. But the channel itself's had content being put onto it for about 14 years now, so it's kind of a development there. And obviously, there's a few questions you'll probably ask about that as we go along. But it's not just vlogging; it's doing different various content, and I've always felt that I need to do something regular on a regular basis, one, to hone the skills and develop, and I have seen that there has been a development over the past 4 years, never mind before that, and also just to get something that's sustainable and consistent. And this is where the vlogging side, which is the bit which has the most videos of all the strands I do, has come into play, because I've kind of changed the way it works over time. I've gone from, hello there, I'm vlogging, this is a nice camera, and this is what I do, and all this, and talking and making fun myself and everything else.
Oh yeah, I'm Barry, I'm 24, bit unshaven as you can see, bit unshaven here, cut myself just there, I'm blind as you can see, hair's not exactly nice. This is my first blog. Yes, a blog. Now, this is, what's this? Ah, haha, another camera. Just shows you, doesn't it? Well, it's effectively what I do. I'm a podcaster. I create podcasts for a channel called the Podcast Channel, and that's basically what I do during the day. This is at night. You can see the curtains closed. Curtains closed there. Purely because the daylight's causing a problem with the camera. I'm a bit of a stickler like that, and you'll probably find that as we go along.
going to, oh, this is an interesting place. What's this do? What's that do? And maybe do a kind of travel vlog idea. And that's the way I do the vlogging. But there is other content I do as well. But it's mostly vlogging you want to ask about just now, or are you looking for more? Or I'm presently in Cardiff Castle. And bit of a whistle-stop tour because you could probably spend half a day here. I've only got 2 hours or so. Been on the house tour, saw some interesting architecture. Probably won't do that again. It's not my tour. First of it, the only room that's good was the last room. It's a bit ostentatious otherwise. It's raining though. That's the only thing. But the only reason I've got a couple of hours is because I've got to catch a bus, an aqua bus. Probably saw the shots earlier in there.
Why? Why did you decide to start doing this? Why did you decide to start being a content creator?
Well, it wasn't really seen as a content creator originally. It was just a case of, oh, this is a nice little idea. This is a nice little channel. I'll put some bits and pieces up and see how I go and see how it works. And there was the cycle that most YouTubers have when I first started doing it in a proper basis. I mean, I had occasional videos coming out for next times and things like that for Doctor Who related stuff when content ID wasn't so much of a thing. Obviously, it's a bigger thing now on YouTube, and it's caused a few ruckuses, which is why I've got away from doing that a lot. But at the time, it's just a case of a couple of videos, and I decided I'll take the plunge 12 years ago, and I'll go in front of camera. And oh my God, what an embarrassing video that was, watching it more recently. And it just shows you what it is. That's probably the one I'll probably send to you. So yeah, it was kind of like you got the cycle of saying, oh yeah, this is great. You do about 4 or 5 weeks of doing it, and then all of a sudden it just goes by the wayside, and 6 months later, hello, me again. It's been a long time, and that was actually a big joke of mine for a while on all my vlogs. It's been a while. How are you doing? You know, because for about 7 years it was kind of like, oh, I've got another vlog. It's been a while. How are you doing? You know, and all this. So it's one of these things. But then in 2016, I decided, well, I need a hobby. I need something to keep me going outside of the drudges of work as it was at that time. And I'll start posting on a weekly basis. Initially, it would start with vlogs and Doctor Who related content, and it developed and went into weekly strands. And this is where the comedy stuff comes in that I used to do, because I wanted to do something different every week. And it's kind of stayed at that, but I've given myself more flexibility as time's gone on to put regular content in as needs must and everything else. But it's a slow process. It wasn't overnight that I've got the content I've got now, and the things I do now and the things I plan ahead for it's taken its time and developed, and it will continue to change. That's the nature of it. So content creating isn't just a case of just going on a zeitgeist and doing it. It's posting out lots of stuff that doesn't get views, because a lot of it won't. And that's the thing. People have got to realize that most people's content, if they're not a big YouTuber, will get maybe 10, 12 views a week. And that stays the same for months and months and months, and all of a sudden it comes and gives you a surprise with another 100 all of a sudden within 2 days. It's just the nature of the content. Enjoyable, guys?
Very enjoyable. Loved it.
Yeah.
I was a bit.
And I've spent a lot of money as well.
Yes.
What did you say?
I was a bit thinking about the interaction thing, but it was really quite fun. And I loved seeing the kids and stuff.
That was the best bit of the interaction. It was actually the kids going scared, especially the little ages.
So
But
But it's like, who wants to get this? And you have to fight back that urge for you to do
I know,
it.
but you're like, no, children
No, the
first.
children have to do it. And of course, I was one who was constantly going first
Yes.
behind the guy, the boy girl. I was
Boy.
one- I
Yeah,
was
the
one
boy girl.
constantly doing that. So
I know.
I'm the brave one, so there we go.
So you're talking about there how, you know, some YouTubers will get 10 views, 15 views, and then you hopefully build it up to 300, 400 and beyond. And then you look at some people who drop a video, say Markiplier, he'll drop a video and then an hour later it'll have 350,000 views. So what would you consider to be like a mark of success as a YouTuber? Is that the term? What is the term? What is the proper? Because as you said, you're not just a vlogger. You also do your, you get different strands, which you've got Kidstructor, you've got your Doctor Who reviews, you've got your first impressions, sometimes second impressions. So what is the correct terminology to describe what we do?
I think with content creators, I think it's probably the best way. A YouTube creator,
Yeah.
I think that's what it effectively is, because people are creating content. Some people may vlog, some people may game, some people may react, some people may review, some people may do all of them. Guilty of charged, but it's just it's just what you feel comfortable with and what you're happy with doing. I mean, there's vloggers out there that you probably speak to over this that probably will say, oh, it's just one video that exploded and I went on that strand and I've been able to keep that strand going. Other people never get that chance, like you and me, and we just carry on and just plug away and eventually something will kick and something will hit, and it's not the hope, it's just the fact of, am I enjoying doing this? Is it giving me satisfaction? As long as you've got that, it doesn't really matter if I've got 10 people watching it or 25,000 people watching it. It doesn't really matter to me in that respect. And it's just, I think it's just a case of, do you enjoy it? If you don't do it. Don't just do it to slug it out because you need to earn an income. If you don't enjoy doing these sort of things, then don't pan your neck out doing it. Make sure you're always enjoying it and trying to develop what you do and make yourself better. And obviously development is something that obviously I can see as well, as much as anybody else, in my stuff and everybody else's stuff as well. I mean, everybody else I've watched from time and again.
Her father, James V, died on the 14th of December 1542, just 6 days after Mary was born. She was the third Scottish monarch in a row to become sovereign as a child, following her father and her grandfather, James IV.
So not talking about your two-parter introduction, but the first time you got in the car and went out, what was the process? What made you say, right, today I'm going to go do this? Or what sort of planning went into doing your first video? What was kind of the process?
Very little planning, to be fair. I had a mini DV camera. I said, I wonder if it works with my car. I'll do a filming with my car, do a bit of traveling, do the car shot, which is something that's not as regular now, but used to be something I did a lot. It's kind of a different movement. I always wanted to do something where, I mean, this sort of setup behind me where you're static is great, but it's always nice to have a bit of movement sometimes and make it a bit more interesting on camera. And the first few vlogs are really me experimenting that and working with different methods and different ways of doing it. And I didn't really find a way of doing videos like that until I went to Manchester and Cardiff with yours truly and all that. That's when my format started to click together properly. There was lots of experiments for the first 20 or so vlogs I did. Just trying to find out what worked for me and what didn't, because it's about experimentation in those ones. And this is why when I'm doing my Deanstructor stuff more recently, I'm cringing at this saying, why did I think that was a good idea? Because some of these you're going, that isn't a good idea, but it's trial and error and developing it and working it and doing something you're comfortable with and a way of doing it. So it wasn't really much planning doing the first few videos. It was kind of, let's try this, let's see how this works, let's see if I can get something about it. I was doing podcasts for local towns and cities with a friend of mine at that point, so I was trying to see if I can get a bit of content about that. But confidence and embarrassment about getting involved in doing that, you can see that in the other videos. It's mostly me talking because I wasn't prepared to point the camera at people and do stuff, or point it like it is. And the modern way of people pointing phones has made me a lot more comfortable to do those sort of things as well. But it's partially confidence, partly trying it out, and it's taken a long time to get to what I am now in regards to the way I'm filming it. And some people just have natural talent, Fraser, who can talk on camera straight away, but others just can't do that, and they have to prepare themselves,
I'm presently sitting with, behind me, a rift in space and time where anything can happen. It's also called Cardiff Bay. Yes, I am in Cardiff to celebrate a friend's birthday who's presently in his scratcher.
So tell us a little bit about your different streams. You've got your Kidstructor, you've got your first impressions and whatnot. So what kind of, someone brand new doesn't know Deanstructor, what can they expect from your YouTube channel?
Variety, I think, is probably the best word to put, because I don't try and do the same thing week to week. I think the next couple of months you might see a bit more of that, because I'll probably want a bit more interaction from people like yourself and that online. So I probably will do a bit more of a live stream idea and work on that. But to be fair, I try and make sure that I'm not burning out with an idea. And trying to get it and I'll try an idea and see how it works. But variety for me is key. And there's things I try and have a backbone within the channel. Doctor Who stuff is the backbone and the vlogs are the backbone. Everything else is kind of in between and good or bad regardless. And I try and work around that. I did start with a schedule of, I'll have a vlog this week, I'll do an interesting video this week, I'll do a Doctor Who video this week, and I'll do a funny video. And I tried to keep to that for about a year. And I was struggling to do the funny stuff. So I changed it out for something, what I called odd, so I could just experiment and do different ideas. And this is where Kidstructor comes in, because Kidstructor was an idea based on me trying to do something different for that fourth week. And eventually I'm going, I'm too strict, I'm too stable. I'll change it and be saying, yeah, this is what you'll expect normally, but that might change because I might change it up and change for different things. Going back to your original question, I know I've just diverted a little bit there. Sorry.
That's all right.
The channel is basically a bit of variety. If you don't like one video one week, I'm sure you'll like another video another week.
And as always, I have in front of me here the television companion. I'm going to read the plot synopsis of the story before we go any further. So here we go. Unit is called in after a miner from the Welsh village of Clan Fairfax is found dead, his skin glowing bright green. Joe joins forces with the local environmental group led by Professor Clifford Jones, while the doctor investigates the nearby plant of a company called Global Chemicals. They discover that the mine workings are full of giant maggots and green slime, both lethal to the touch, that have been produced by chemical waste pumped from the Global plant. Stevens, the director of Global, has been taken over by the boss, Biomorphic Organizational Systems Supervisor, a computer with a will of its own. The boss plans to seize power by linking itself to every other major computer in the world, but the Doctor uses a blue crystal, a souvenir from a brief visit to the planet Metabolus 3, to break its hold over Stevens, who then programs it to self-destruct.
I think I know what the answer is going to be, but what is your favourite to do? Out of all of your videos, what is the favourite strand?
At the moment, it's Deanstructor.
Yeah, I knew that's what you were going to say.
I think because Deanstructor's developed into something a bit more than just me and the camera reacting, I'm trying to get other people involved now, and that's more interesting for me, having that interaction with other people. And I think some of the videos we've watched, I probably wouldn't have watched them on my own and shown as much interest if it wasn't for the fact that you and Jamie are piping up. I mean, Ivan the Engines, when he's singing the Welsh anthem last time, we're going, whoa, where did that come from? And those sort of things you can't get on your own normally, because if you do it on your own, you usually have a rough idea what you're going to be watching, and you've got to play on that. If you get somebody else there who's completely random, which is why I've tried the suggestion when I'm not going to reveal it on here because it's still the bright line, but what we tried later on in our block is something to help make it more interesting for everybody going forward, and for me when it comes to doing it on my own again, because I will do occasional ones on my own still, but I want to try and do it in a groups of people because I feel I feel that interaction is always better. And it's something I've not really done is kind of 2-man, 3-man people on camera. And it's something I think probably want to develop. So Deanstructor at the moment is my favourite. The one that's going to have the longest longevity is Doctor Who reviews. Go figure.
You've
and
got
the vlogs as well, I think. Yeah. Well, I've done 30 now, so I've got another 100, 200 and 230 or something to go. Something like that.
Jamie, I hate to say it, but Evan looks like you.
Right, that's a bit surprising.
Very proud there of Ivor in the Coral Society. Well, it's not many choirs have a look from just singing the first place.
You better pay him extra for this.
Usual, even in Wales.
It was only a bottle of red I got.
He's not even opened it yet.
That's the worrying thing, he hasn't.
He did have a bit of a... Well, that was...
Told by Oliver Griffiths, Anthony Jackson and Oliver Postgate.
So when you take your camera out, and you mostly do yours with your phone, so when you go out filming, what sort of reactions do you get? How do you deal with the public? Because obviously I'm fairly new to going out and hitting the streets and whatever. It's easy at Comic-Con because most people expect a camera up in their faces anyway. However, there's certain types of people who you'd rather not see have a camera pointing in a certain direction because you're concerned what they're going to do with that footage later. But how do you deal like when you're on the street with the public and you're filming and you're essentially talking to yourself? How do you find that to be, and how do you deal with it?
When I first started doing it in my very early vlogs, and I was out and about, and I'm getting to the stage now with some of the stuff that you'll be seeing in Deanstructors, you'll be seeing those early ones coming up now, and I'll go into that strand a little bit later, hopefully. But when I first started doing it, I had a big bulky mini DV camera. That's gonna look weird. That's gonna look strange. This big camera, somebody pointing at themselves. That's gonna be nerve-wracking. That's gonna be a problem. I've been lucky in that respect. I've gone from that to phone, and it's a lot more normal to be pointing at yourself at a phone and talking than it is anywhere else. I think it's just a case of zoning out as much as anything else. Concentrate on what you're doing. And unless you see something of the caught your eye peripheral which really you think shouldn't be on there, you just carry on. That's why when you see me do my channel update stuff, it tends to be one take because I just zone out and just do it. But I always try and find somewhere a bit quieter as well to do stuff. So I'm not going to the main thoroughfares. I'm trying to find somewhere a bit quieter. Not that the scenery's usually a bit more interesting than just a main road. And secondly, I'm trying to do it in such a way that I don't catch a lot of people in there. So it's kind of like a personal experience of me and the person on the camera.
So for the last time, I get out this car. It's quite bittersweet. It's very strange not having a car, but the project I keep mentioning and teasing about in vlogs and everything is basically dependent on me being able to travel reliably. Now, some of the bits I'll be doing I can still manage on public transport, but it's not as quick, not as easy. It probably will mean that the number of things I want to do with the project this year will have to be curtailed, because it means going to various locations, and I may not be able to go as many locations because I may not be able to afford to do so, because I'd have to hire a car to get to the places. I still intend to go to places by car, but it will be through a hire of some sort.
So, money is no... Well, I think you might have already answered this. But money is no object. Equipment is no object. World's at your feet. What do you do? What's next?
If money's no object, world's no object, well, I'd probably do it full time, but I'll probably still do once a week. I'd just spend more time in doing the weekly videos. I probably wouldn't do much more than once a week because I don't want the burnout factor. I'd want DSLR, I'd want proper sound equipment, proper lighting equipment, although what I've got here I think is pretty adequate for what I use, to be fair. I mean, it's basically a spotlight, 3 spotlights with LEDs at them. It's nothing magical in that respect, but it gives an even lighting more or less in most of the stuff, unless it's daytime like this, and you can see the color difference between the two, which is why I tend to do most of my stuff at night. But yeah, but money no object, yeah, do this full time, of course, but I will probably still keep to the same schedule I've got now, but just making better quality, just spend more time on them. At the moment I'm doing things for maybe half a day, a weekend, and that's it.
Filming it. Oh God. So excited! We're not getting involved. You're not getting involved, right? Okay. Oh no!
Let's do a selfie. Let's do a selfie and a vlog selfie. Right, we're on good.
So, to wrap it up, what's your advice to somebody who might be watching and going, yeah, I'd like to have a go at that?
Do it. That's all I could say. Do it. If it's rubbish, fine. It's a learning curve. A lot of people say this when I've watched videos like that on YouTube. Just do it. It doesn't matter if it's the worst content in the world. As long as you're putting something up, you will grow. You will gain a following, whether it's 59 subscribers or 60 subscribers or 182 or 12,000. You will gain a subscriber base based on you. Just be you. Do it. If it's rubbish, you'll learn. You'll figure out what to do and how to develop it and how to grow. So yeah, if most cameras are pretty decent for quality now, get a camera. It doesn't even have to be microphoned up. Just get a camera, point it in front of you, say a couple of things, and just see how it goes, and upload it and see how it goes and get the reaction. The best way of developing is not to spend years and years and years on the one thing and tweaking it every so often and do a George R.R. Martin and spend 10 years trying to do the 6th book of Game of Thrones sort of idea. Sit down, just do it, put it up, see how it works, and then work from there. That's probably the best advice I can give you. Just do it.
I'm assuming that's because of contacts. It might be wrong. Let me know if it's wrong, Robert. But I kind of thought, well, that's showing the making do you know. But he did a blog. It was about 25 blogs he did on making do, and it was really interesting. And to quote one of his characters on YouTube, Robert Llewellyn, you're extraordinary.
Amazing. Where can people find your stuff?
Right, okay, so the best way to find my stuff is to go to the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Deanstructor. I have a Facebook and a Twitter and a Tumblr, which I don't really use. I have an Instagram, which I also don't really use, but then again, I've not got any Instagram stuff to post at the moment, like everybody else. But yeah, those are the main places to find me. But I post a video every Sunday, usually about 4 p.m. GMT. but it can vary the times, and I'm going to tweak that a little bit over the next few months. But yeah, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday is usually when it is. And that's another thing. Get a time that you think's happy with you that you can stick to. Do the same time every week. Don't just schedule it on a Sunday at any point. Just do it, or Saturday or whatever. Do it at a regular time, and you'll build a regular audience from that as well.
Barry, thank you so much for taking your time to speak to me, for being my first ever interviewee for the Get Your Geek On interview. I don't know what it's going to be called yet. I've not got a name yet. Get Your Geek On Meets. Get Your Geek On Meets. Aye. Deanstructor, that's what we'll call it. So thank you for being the very first participant of the Get Your Geek On Meet session. Meet session? That's
You're very welcome.
I don't know what to call this. Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out by the end of the day. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time for probably a very similar video with someone else. So thank you for watching, Barry. Thanks for your time. Please subscribe to Barry. What number of subscribers are you up to?
182 at the time of recording, but that's always going to change.
And what do you want to get up to at the end of the year?
I'd like to have 200 by the end of the year, because if I can get 200, I might consider doing what you're doing with Patreon, but that's a thought at the moment. I just feel that's a nice critical mass. Yeah, let's get to it.
Hop over to Barry's channel, hit the subscribe button, click the bell button, that'll be fine. Thanks very much. It's been a pleasure. We shall see you next time. Goodbye.